So players have been playing Coral Divide. That we did a preview in February, and then we just finished up
Did
the
they actually
preview
change
in
anything
April.
between the first
yeah, starting in season 8,
and second?
the map's going to be fully out, fully released.
Just bugs and things
Just bugs?
that things that you could climb before you can get in like glitch spots.
And we're actually, the plan is to run that map for a period of time before we start like a rotation with the old map.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely look forward to that. Look forward to having full access to the map come season 8.
Yeah, that's great info. I know that players are looking forward to having that new OPR map
No, we'll
being
have
playable
this one
every day. So that's great.
I hope so.
We also
The other ones will be per week.
have at the start of the season one of our seasonal events, Springtide Bloom, and we have the return of other seasonal events. Joel, if you want to.
Yeah, so Springtide Bloom is going to have upgraded patterns with higher gear score. Spriggan is also going to have upgraded loot, so it's going to be much more meaningful. There will be above gear score 700 loot for players to get to kind of feel like they can catch up and participate in some of our pinnacle in-game content in those. So we look forward to bringing that back out for some of the players.
Well, we need more than 700 gear score.
Yeah, but they always do this. Like over time, they'll make it so it's gradually, you know what I mean, easier to get
available.
The higher gear score. Yeah.
I don't believe console players have actually experienced Springtide either.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the return for those events for PC players and the first time that our console players will be experiencing these events. So it's super exciting. And then along those same lines where we have these in-game world events, we have something new with this next season, which we're calling Expeditions Unleashed. Chad.
Yeah, so Expeditions Unleashed is a selection of expedition bosses that we've taken, leveled them up, scaled them up, and basically injected them into the open world. So lots of players can show up together, 10, 20, 30, however many more, and fight them in huge numbers. We've adjusted their abilities to make them more appropriate for the open world and for fighting lots of players.
That's actually sick as fuck. Yeah, it's actually sick as fuck.
We got world bosses now?
It should be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And then there's rewards associated with this, I'm assuming. So.
Of course.
Yep. So there is a 725 up-leveled item, one for each boss that you'll be able to get each time they show up. And then there's 710 items across the board of all of their existing loot that will also be leveled up. So there'll be some fun stuff that you can kind of get that's kind of from the past brought up to current standards.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
And then 710 upgraded of their old items that you could drop.
Ooh, like the 625 ones, I see.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cool. And I know that, this is something where players have been wanting this for a while. This is one of those things that they've talked about where they're like, we want to do things in the open world with our friends. We've seen some of these events that you have. We want more of that, but we want it to be, different, and we want this to be an exciting thing for us to do, like kind of on a daily grind. And so this is definitely something that I think fulfills that and gives them a rotation of different bosses that they've seen in our expeditions, but these are not bosses that you've seen in the open world before. So that's pretty cool. And then is this something, Tracy, is this something that is happening all season? Is this something that is just for a limited time? Like what can players expect?
These bosses are going to appear in the world for a week every month, and it'll be a different boss each time all season. So look forward to it.
Cool. And this is just the season 8 thing?
No, this will be for all seasons going forward.
Oh, so that's part of the divide is now we're having things divided from.
That's actually really cool. I'm happy that they're doing that. So you only have a week to kill this boss, so everyone's going to be like going to it, obviously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hopefully different bosses drop different items. That'd be cool too.
Well, they did say the 710 gear was upgraded from their previous loot, and then 725 gear. So we'll see what that is.
Interesting.
And that can be continued forever. I love that. And another interesting new event that we have coming to Aeternum is Faction Fest. Tracy, that's something that you've been working on. Want to tell us about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a new event coming for the community. It's a fun little competition for players in each faction. We wanted to motivate them to check out expeditions, so we have a new set of rewards for this event specific to expeditions. We'll give you guys more details later.
Interesting.
Love new rewards. And it's
Making
a
us
new
play
season, and we
expeditions.
haven't talked about the season.
Yeah, it sounds like they really want PvP players to start doing a little bit more.
What PvP players? There's no PvP players. It's all PvE.
Yeah, no, it's all PvE. Good point. Good point, actually.
Server. Some of that is because we're doing things a little bit different. So we talked about how Coral Divide and the events are going to kind of kick things off. With the Season of the Divide, we want to give the Coral Divide OPR map its time to shine in the sun. And the seasonal server will actually start later in the season. But we do want to talk about it. So Joel, what's going on with that?
Absolutely. So seasonal servers are very much always going to be an experimental place for us to kind of try new ideas, flip New World on its head in certain ways. This one is our twist on what a typical hardcore mode would be for other MMOs. It's heavy focused on challenging the player's knowledge, putting them in a situation where we don't want them to die. The best rewards on this server that you'll be able to get will be things like beating the Gorgon raid, beating the Sandworm, beating mutated dungeons without dying. However, in this one, dying doesn't necessarily mean your character's gone. What it means is that for those other players that maybe have never even experienced this content before, we're going to give those characters a massive buff. They're going to get a bunch of attributes every time they die, up to, I think, like 125 across all stats. So you're going to be able to build your character in different ways. You're going to be able to hit different breakpoints on the attribute bar. You're also going to be able to equip.
Wait, did he say when you die, you're going to get buffed?
Yep. So here coming people just dying for the hell of it.
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking about. It's like, bro, they're just
Mass murder.
All you're gonna see is people just dying off the bat just to get their stats super high and then run through all the content. One thing,
Starting mode. Oops.
One thing they need to do for these seasonal servers is make it so when you're max level, you don't have to do the base game main story quest in order to do the Brimstone stuff, or in order to do the Elysian Wild. Like, it should be a level threshold, not have you done the base game main story threshold.
Artifacts
or should do what
across the board
does,
in every slot. So 2 weapons, 5 armor pieces, 3 jewelry pieces.
True.
And then on top of that, and that's everybody, death or not. So the people that are unfallen that have never died will be able to try the raid that way. And then on top of that, there's a couple things, like obviously I know there's some fatigue with MSQ. We don't necessarily want people to go through that, so we've made more of a quest line that's a tutorial for the server. The goal being is that this server is more of like a weekend event. You and your friend should be able to take about 2 or 3 sessions and get to the end game in that time frame.
Agreed.
Something 4 or 6 hours, somewhere in there, depending on your knowledge. Faster if you're really good and you know how to min-max to get to that in-game content. There's a lot of crafting. You can build your own in-game gear, but we let you craft specific gear throughout. We give you a lot of the content that you need, access to Elysian Wilds, the Azoth staff, all of those things we start to give you through this quest chain as a tutorialization.
This is really smart because, like, Chris and Max and the boys, they'll usually find a game on like Friday or Thursday. They'll game it all weekend and then they'll never play it again. So it's not necessarily that like these guys are going for people who will never play it again, but it's more like they'll have that gaming session when they'll get to end game. And then when the season's over, your character transfers over to Legacy, right? Those people will be able to come back. They were already in Endgame, and they'll be able to pick up, oh, there's a new expansion. I have a character already. You see where they're going with that? Because there's no paid subscription. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah, I actually think that's really smart of them. Like, make it like a weekend session for those people. They'll have a maxed out character. New stuff comes out. They'll come back eventually. Like, everybody always does. They always come back and check it out. They'll come back eventually. And then they'll be like, oh, well, I have a character on Legacy, or they might jump into the seasonal or whatever. It's actually so smart.
And it's more about testing your knowledge at that point. And then the other side is rewards and making sure that players take something out. We're going to be giving a crafting material that allows players on their prime characters, their main world servers, to craft an artifact from Season 7 and before of their choice. You want Serenity, you don't want to do PvP, here's your way to get it.
Fuck yeah.
So there's some really good stuff you'll be able to pull out, not just cosmetics, but actually things that you might seek, such as Tier 3 trophies as well, to your prime characters. And we'll have more information on that soon.
Yeah, and you called out something
Actually,
like not only are we starting that seasonal server a little bit later in the season, we're also running it for a limited time. Because it is something where players will be able to go through the quest line, go through all of the different activities, pretty quickly. You can take your time with it if you want. So
they should still make it so you don't have to do the base game MSQ. If you get to level 60, you should just be able to do Brimstone right away. Yeah, straight up. The same with Elysian
There should
Wilds.
also be an option for returning players to just bypass the MSQ and be X level.
I wouldn't say X level, but definitely maybe bypass the MSQ or something.
Well, I mean, maybe not X level, but like maybe have like a XP boost, just so you can go kill some shit and level up quick.
That's what they're talking about, but in order for that to happen, they would need to make it so you don't have to do the base game MSQ either way. Because with this seasonal server that's going on, the PvP seasonal server, Season 7, a big problem is that everybody's chopping down trees, power leveling, and you still have to go through the MSQ. Like, it should be just, as soon as you hit level 60, you can start the Brimstone, or the Elysian Wild.
Where we gave up on the PvP was everyone got to higher level and then just camped the MSQ.
Yeah, well, and that wouldn't have been a problem if we could have just chopped down trees and then bypassed it.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
I'm not telling you have to do it in a weekend, but it's not going to take too much time, right?
It's very much an event. It's very much a vacation. It's a place for you to dip your toes in and try something different, or potentially get someone else that's unfamiliar with the game in there with you and try it out.
That's exactly
it. That hits on
smart.
one of, I think, the concerns that some people had from the last seasonal server, which was the bifurcation of the players, right? So people were joining the seasonal server in this last season and staying on it for quite some time.
Yes.
I mean, some people made that their main for the time being.
There was a couple people
and
who
this
did,
gets
actually.
them their time
Believe it
playing
or
on the
not.
seasonal server and having a lot of fun, trying to stay unfallen.
It's very much scheduled like the rest of the events, like the PTR maps.
But the next season, you know, everyone's just gonna be killing themselves for the extra stats or whatever. It really should be, if you die, your character either goes to Legacy or it's gone.
Excuse me, not the PTR maps, the preview maps.
Well, that's true hardcore, right?
It's very much to fit in as a grouping of content instead of something that is on top of those things.
Should also mention for the bifurcation, right, that this particular seasonal server, you won't be able to join cross-world matchmaking, right?
Yep. We do not want players with 125 attributes across the board and artifacts smashing other OPR players. That is absolutely correct. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is probably something where we would expect players to spend some time on this server and go back, play their main to do their dailies, and then come back over to the seasonal server to finish up.
But also feel like you're making rewards and cosmetics for your prime characters and feeling like your time is valued and that it persists long term. And we will continue to look at those things for seasonal servers.
And it's good for new.
Do you keep your character from the seasonal server?
No,
this
you do
time?
not keep the character this time.
What?
What? You do not keep the character.
So that's not good for new players. I would not recommend a new player start on those servers. What? All your progress is just gone.
See your new level 60 character, and it's gone.
And it's gone.
Especially now with all that power and artifacts now. But the rewards you will.
The rewards you will.
That's awesome. So next up, and we kind of hit on this a little bit where we were talking about preview weekends, we have more preview weekends.
That's true.
A lot more.
We have a lot coming up. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And this is a great time to announce that the next, drum roll, please. Thank you. So yeah, I'm pleased to announce our next game mode is Capture the Flag.
Yes, I'm actually
we will be
Big W.
Yes, we will be previewing this in not one but two previews. With two different maps. Yeah.
Two different maps. It was two different maps. So we are getting two different maps. That's huge.
Two maps.
Of two domination, two capture the flag.
Yeah, we've been working hard on this. And we were having so much.
Bro, you can't just show it that quick, bro. You just can't show it that quick, bro. Oh, bro, it's a bridge. And then there's a down area here. And there's probably another bridge over there.
What area is this? It's all snowy. The Shattered Mountain.
No, Shattered Mountain. It would be Great Cleave, I think. Maybe not though.
It's been so long since I actually traveled the map. I have no idea.
Do we need to go back?
In not one but two previews. With two different maps. Yes. Two maps. Two maps. Yeah. Can you believe it? Yeah, we've been working hard on this. And we were having so
The underneath areas here under the bridge. So if you're running across the bridge, you're getting fucked up, drop down, start weaving in and out of the bridge. You know what I mean? There's going to be runner classes. 100% there's going to be runner classes. But if if everyone's a runner class, then they have no tank to hold the flag. You're going to need a couple tanky boys that like, so say it's a 2 flag capture the flag, which it should be. It could be a 1 flag, but it should be a 2 flag. You know what I mean?
You're gonna have one runner and all tank and shield.
How World of Warcraft does it is there's 2 flags and you need to get your flag at your base in order to capture the enemy's flag, right? So you need both flags, which is how this should be. So usually there's runners, and then there's tanky boys and healers to make sure that they can hold the flag. Dude, this is
so much fun with like one map. We were like, so we actually,
this is sick. The red circle there, I think that's their flag, which means that the blue one's on the other side.
This looks like a pretty small map.
It does look small.
This is similar to how we did the last OPR map.
Ooh, this is the other one.
Oh, this is Dynasty area.
Yep. The red flag's over there. It's probably mirrored, so everything that we're seeing is probably the same behind us too. You know what I mean?
Coral Divide. We started with a lot of gray box maps, right, and like kind of narrative.
What is that? That glowing
flag.
I don't think so, because the flag has the beam coming up from it. That might be a
unless we have to drop off the flag.
And then we got 2 maps that we were feeling good about, and we're just like, let's just see if we can do both, and we did.
And I feel like internally,
I'm happy they did just say fuck it, let's just do both. I love that. I love that mentality. Let's just do it. I like that.
We're all split because we all have a favorite. And there's nobody that's like, yeah, like I love both of them the same. There's always one that you're like, I kind of prefer this one because those 2 maps have very different like strategies associated with them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so the first one is it's a pretty simple map. It's like this 2-tier bridge, very straightforward. We feel like this is the best map to like introduce the game mode and get people used to it. So our version of CTF, it's
Oh, there is a down below area. You see that?
Yep.
Two flags and the 2 teams.
Oh, but there's an empty middle too. That red zone down there. I'm not gonna go back, but that's new.
You have to return it. You have to defend your flag at the same time to score.
Down there.
And so there's
you see that red zone?
Yep.
Part defense, part attack, and there's definitely coordination. It's a 10v10 mode, I should mention.
Well, let me pull it back. Actually,
this is the best map to like introduce the game mode and get people used to it. So our version of CTF, it's two flags and then 2 teams. Obviously, you take the flag, you have to return it, you have to defend your flag at the same time to score.
It is like World of Warcraft, which is perfect. This is the best game mode that you can. So there's going to be runners, there's going to be tanks, there's going to be healers, it's going to be chaos, it's going to be fun. I'm hyped.
And so there's so it's part defense, part attack, and there's definitely coordination. It's a 10v10 mode, I should mention, which is our first game mode of that size. So that should create a different dynamic in itself. We also added 2 new gameplay mechanics to this mode. We have jump pads,
my favorite,
which are super cool.
You like jump pads?
That's probably what those things in the ground are.
Oh, honestly, yeah, that is probably what they are.
Jump pads are cool.
Jump pads are cool. Yeah, they're cool.
Our flavor of jump pad is a little different than maybe what you've seen in some other games.
I like that though.
Actually
Spices it up a little bit.
Which we felt like gives you more strategy. It also gives you more like agency in like when you use them, like because you can run over them without activating them, which is useful in our game since you're constantly repositioning for combat. Sometimes we actually did test a version where they were automatic and it didn't go so well. Like they were just automatically triggering. You'd like back into them. So yeah, we decided we liked the manual trigger better, and that's what we went with.
It would have been.
Yeah, to go back to the other mechanic is power-ups. So we also added, we have like a health, a haste, and an attack power-up.
That's huge, bro. Yeah, there's small maps, but remember like Halo back in the day and how like the power weapons, everyone used to play around them?
Yep.
So you're gonna be having people going for the flag, focusing the flag, defense, attacking, all this shit. But then you're gonna also have the guys trying to focus the power ups. Like, dude, that's actually huge. That's huge.
And they respawn on a timer and just add a little more tactics to the map and strategy. And yeah, so the second map it's a much wider map. We actually call it wide. That was like the code name for it. But yeah, it's very
creative.
We're super creative with our naming. Yeah, so like it has like this straight shot to the other flag, but it's like kind of out in the open. You're like, it's super risky to just.
One looks like it's better for archers. One looks like it's better for melee.
Like run the flag back that way.
I like that.
But there's a lot more going on the sides of the map, so the intention is that there's more routes to kind of use to like weave in and out of the different like obstacles.
It feels a bit
things.
more like Coral Divide with choke points and whatnot.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's going to be interesting when we see the outcome of how players.
I
use
like
it on
that
those
they're
weekends.
making them feel different.
But we have
That's
even
huge.
more than just capture the flag, right?
Mm-hmm. We do, yeah. So
The third
we
map.
also have another arena map. So the last arena map we added was in season 2.
Yes.
The Brimstone Sands arena.
Has to be Elysian
and
Wild.
the third one
Has to be
is
Elysian Wild.
set in this kind of like ancient temple, like it's like an overgrown temple.
Like, it's not like fully Elysian Wild. You know what I mean? It kind of has like that overgrown theme. Like, it's not. I don't think it's Elysian Wild, but it has that natural theme.
What's interesting about this map is it's our largest arena that we've done thus far. But we did something a little different this time, where the death fog ring closes in much sooner, and just like slower. Like it still ends at the same time as a regular arena, but because it starts sooner, the arena starts to close in. And the tactics change, right? Like, so at the beginning, the ranged has more of an advantage, right? Because they have more mobility, they can stay at range. But like, yeah, as the match progresses, that quickly goes away, and then melee becomes the the winning tactic.
Yeah, super interesting. And then the last one.
Last but not least, take it away, John.
I'm going to say this one too. Okay, yes, it's my show. Yeah, so we also have another version of Outpost Rush that is kind of an experiment we're running.
That's fun.
This is called Outpost Rush Bare Bones. And the premise here is that in this version of Outpost Rush, you will have all of your the perks on your gear will be deactivated. Okay, so the idea here is that it's a completely level playing field. Players who maybe have bounced off of PvP because they thought their gear wasn't good enough, they can hop into this mode and compete just like everyone else, just like people who have thousands of hours in the game, right?
That's very cool.
Meanwhile,
like
maybe people who have thousands of hours in the game and have like super good gear, and maybe people are saying, oh yeah, your gear's good, that's why you're so good, right? It has nothing to do with your skill. They can jump in here and kind of prove, like, no, see, like, I'm not good. Like, it's not just my gear.
So all of this is to
and vice versa.
The
for the people who rely on their gear only and have no skill
are
going to get
concerned that their
demolished.
gear is a limiting factor. And then the other side of that coin is that you can prove that your gear is not the only reason why you're so good at Outpost Rush.
Yeah, and we're actually going to run, with that preview, we're going to run it in parallel with regular Outpost Rush, because we kind of want to see what people think, and see if this is resonating with people. So that's why I said it's kind of an experiment.
Well, and along with that,
and if they can maintain
to make this change possible, there's been some work done on the activity screen.
They're probably going to test this to see if, can we have a ranked PvP and an OPR running? You know what I mean? They're going to see if the player,
And so that we can more easily do mode variants like this, right?
Yeah, that's true. Like, so definitely a big concern on the modes team is that as we add more modes, more maps, we'll actually we talked about bifurcating the audience. That's definitely a concern with modes, right? So we're trying to control that by, for one thing, doing these previews, like we wouldn't have everything.
It needs to be random. It needs to be when you click on OPR, and they need to change that. So it needs to be
2 maps.
Exactly. It's all random. It's capture the flag. It's it's whatever. It's just random. You get what you get.
Active at the same time, right? Like so CTF would occupy the same slot as bare bones mode. So we would basically be rotating modes in and out. And over time, what we might find is like as we introduce new.
They want to have 2 going at once, and that's not the way to go. It needs to be random.
New modes, if a new mode really takes off, it's super popular like CTF, that might actually get like a permanent slot, and then maybe a less popular mode might move to the rotation. But we're going to be kind of like measuring the queue lengths and just like the engagement
It's not bad,
for
but
the
you
different
can click
modes to kind of make those
Absolutely.
decisions.
One button,
The
one
engagement,
mode, all
we have
random,
in-game
all in
metrics,
queue.
and then as players, like we'll have more information on all of this and specific dates and the timelines as we get closer to them. But as with everything, like please join the Discord. There will be specific channels set up specifically for feedback on these different preview weekends. And so we love to hear from you. Get your feedback on each different preview that we have. And then obviously like in game, you can always do the submit feedback feature. We do get that as well. Just make sure to call out whichever map it is that you did that you want to give us the feedback on. So we really appreciate that. And we're going to be looking very closely at what players are doing and what they're saying. So that's enough of you talking, JR.
Okay, I'm done.
enough of that. So let's totally switch gears here and talk about something that is another thing that players have been talking about for quite some time, and that's barbershop.
Yay!
Yeah, that's me. So we are going to allow you to purchase a barbershop token in the in-game store with Marks of Fortune, and you will be able to customize your character.
That's okay. You get Marks of Fortune on the free season pass every season.
I know, but come on.
You
have to make it. Did you have to do that? Like,
they did not have to.
It's already in the game. You can already, like from the start of the game, you can change your appearance.
They did not have to. But if it's cheap enough, hopefully it's like you get them once per season or something.
Oh, let's hope there's new ones.
There's characters on PC.
Oh, and dude, look, see the barbershop token in the top right corner? Much like the transmog tokens, this will probably just be on the season pass.
Hopefully, but let's hope there's new options too.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping that there's new options too. Good call. Yeah, that they will probably be on the
PC that have been around a long time that don't necessarily get the chance to use some
without spending Marks of Fortune.
Some of the new customization we added in Aeternum. This is a great time to update your characters, change your look. Maybe you really wanted that new hairstyle. Now's your chance. And that will be available in season.
No one wants
right
that
hairstyle.
Yeah, and you know, some of us want to take the characters that we created on our consoles and we still want to update those ones even though they're new, because that's part of our play style is updating once we get a new skin. We're like, well,
she has a point here though, that this is a thing. You know what I mean? That this is 100% a thing. This is sick though. I'm so hyped for this.
This hair color is not really working anymore. So super excited for that coming out. The next one that we have,
change your character at whim. It's a console command. You can just bring up a menu and change your hairstyle, your race, whatever you want.
For when you swap your gear in that game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is new artifacts. So I gave you a slight break in talking, JR. Very minimal, but it is your turn again.
Yes.
We have quite a few coming out with the Season of the Divide.
Yeah, we have seven new artifacts coming.
Shit!
I can't list them all off the top of my head, but there was one in particular that seemed pretty cool to me. It's this new blunderbuss called Chaos, and it does like these explosive rounds that knock back people. Actually, it would probably be pretty useful in CTF, I imagine. So, yeah.
More following.
To be honest, it would have been
kind
great
of
if we
the
didn't
counterpoint
have
of a blunderbuss. That's interesting.
for that, the manual jump pads, because you can.
It is, but I feel like it's more of like a niche, like for that CTF. If you're running with the flag carrier, you can turn around, bop him with the blunderbuss. He gets pushed back. You get some distance on him. He gets knocked down. You know what I mean?
Or for a pure range class where you don't want them to close the distance and you just boop them away.
Ooh, yeah, see more versatility with that weapon.
Then you could knock people into the jump pad and then like launch them out of the map. Yeah, that'd be super fun.
We'll do a mode variant someday.
How dare you
with
not
auto
do
jump
that? Well, that's awesome. And then while we're on that subject of...
They laughed over his comment, but that auto jump pad thing would actually be funny. So
it would. It'd be like the Graviton hammer mode from Halo.
Yeah.
Where you just
weapons.
In the pit.
Yep.
And combat and all that good stuff. We also have combat updates happening. And I think there's some that, Dan, you're also pretty interested in for this season.
Sure, yeah, there's a few things here. The first one being we're having some changes made to target lock.
Yes!
I'm just going to keep piling on JR because it's kind of funny to me at this point. JR, we've done a couple things to target lock.
Yeah.
Well,
Remember when I called out that the arrow was following you like magic arrows from Diablo 2?
Yep.
It was confirmed that they were only on controllers only, not on mouse and keyboard.
What were they again?
Well, first I want to talk about the reasoning. So, like for making target lock adjustments. Okay, so our game is very skill-based, right? Like combat is kind of the core of the game, and that being heavily
Guided arrows from D2, not magic, by the way.
Skill-based, right? So when we made the move to console, we added target lock primarily as a feature to help controller players compete against mouse and keyboard players, right? To effectively for the aim assistance, right? But we also have an aim assist in addition to that, right? An aim assist is for manual aiming primarily, right? To help guide the missiles, guide your projectiles.
We didn't have aim assist on PUBG, and we got by just fine.
Yep.
Do you remember that? Yeah.
Help you get hits, to account for the lack of accuracy. So when these two things are combined, it turns out that they're very powerful. And yeah, it turns out.
We wanted to err on the side of making sure that controller wouldn't be a barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so what we've done in Season 8 is we've reduced the power of aim assist inside of target lock because you have, target lock's helping you aim, but it's not gonna be like 100% you're gonna hit everything, right? Especially for moving targets. It's still gonna be useful in certain situations when your target's stationary, which is, not often in PvP, but still in PvE,
it's gonna be more like,
pretty much as useful as it was before.
Were, which is good.
But in PvP specifically, you're going to find that when your target's moving, you're not going to lead the target as much if you're using target lock. But we also kind of adjusted aim assist to account for this. So controller players will learn quickly, I think, to stop relying as much on target lock for ranged combat.
Good.
And they will selectively unlock and then just...
They ruined the best thing about New World by adding in the target lock. It should have never been in the game. Maybe for PvE, but really it should never have been in the game at all. Like, this aim assist is way better idea.
Try to manually aim, and they'll find that they're more successful at that than they were in previous seasons. We've also made some changes to kind of add some more counterplay to target lock, and this applies to melee and range. In the current iteration of target lock, it's very sticky, and there's no real way to break someone's lock. Like you can try to outplay them, but they will just basically keep their lock, even you dodge through them, But so that's something we actually just changed is now it will break your lock if basically your target moves too far behind your camera, it will just break the lock. And that also fixes an issue we had with abilities like burnout that have a lot of traversal to them.
Yep.
It no longer tries to spin around and go back to them.
Yeah.
So it'll break the lock. So it's actually beneficial in many ways, and also kind of adds more counterplay. You can actually kind of try to outsmart people that are target locked onto you. And then
I
lastly,
didn't even think about burnout.
I didn't either, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Huh.
We also added, now when you go into aim down sights, it just automatically breaks target lock. That was something that we kept in there initially because we didn't want to disrupt the melee flow, which has some ADS abilities. But it turns out that we could do it with just the ranged weapons, so that's kind of what we did. So now musket and bow, blunderbuss, they'll just immediately break target lock as soon as you go into ADS, which feels good.
And we didn't go too far into just removing it entirely because we want to see incrementally how well this improves combat and how well this balances things as we go, because it is a very delicate balance.
Yeah, for sure, and it is still a useful tool. Having the way I see target lock is it's just another tool in your tool belt. It shouldn't be the only tool though, and I think that's where we kind of went too too hard on it. It was too good.
Yeah, our goal was always to make it be like primarily a tool for melee, and it should be something like everybody kind of figured out what we wanted to do. Like if you wanted to lead a target, you should not use target lock. So we're zeroing in on where that needs to be, right?
Right.
Yeah, we could have a whole episode on aim assist and target lock,
Yeah.
but I think we covered it pretty well in this one. We're also going to have more weapon balance updates that's coming in. I know that you've been listening to some of the players. We've been doing our own testing, and so there's some of those changes going in. And then, are we making any changes to tents?
It's funny you mentioned that. I should talk about tents now, right?
That was a very natural segue.
Yeah.
I just sometimes like to talk about tents.
Just tents in general.
Guys. Can someone talk about that?
Yes. This was something that actually, I guess we had been talking about this for like years, and we finally just went ahead and did it. This is like, it makes a big difference in influence races, but basically, now if you're PvP flagged and you place a tent, it is now destructible. And enemy factions can destroy that tent. Your same faction can bind to that tent as well. So we wanted to make more counterplay to the placement of spawn points in specifically for influence races. That's where it's really going to make a big impact, right? So now, like if you're fighting over a tower and they just like the other team just keeps respawning, you might be, they keep coming from that direction. I'm going to go search over there, and there's still some like strategy in like trying to like hide them. You can hide them in like bushes and things, but yeah, like you'll be able to now stop them from respawning there and make them have to go back to the nearest shrine instead.
Yeah, but that's far as fuck away.
That's right. Tense.
Yeah. Tense.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, like it's not a huge difference, but I think that it adds just a slight, like, again, incremental like change to the way that players have been playing, that they got to, now create a little side strategy to address that somebody can take down their tents. So I don't know, I think it's going to be.
Wait, I completely missed that because I'm doing a trade. What the fuck just happened? You take down tents?
If you're flagged for PvP, like in a faction race or just anywhere in the open world, your PvP tent, like your tent can be destroyed.
That's actually not bad because
I'm not a fan.
I was spawn camping someone last race.
Okay, but you don't have to spawn back at your camp though. That's the whole thing.
100%.
You can literally go back to the shrine, put a new tent down, be like, okay, here. But when they destroy your tent completely, you have to go back to the shrine. You can now just you can farm them when their PvP timer gets off of the shrine.
Right.
I mean, that just seems kind of pointless to me. Because now you're making them go back even further, and now just they can't get back in the fight at all. Because if one team's completely dominating, just hold the LOS to the shrine.
Right. You're not wrong. There is multiple shrines though that you can go to.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
you are right though. Your concern that you're bringing up here, you're right. It takes longer to get back into the fight. Did they say this is going to be main server?
If you want to respawn.
Did they say this is going to be main server?
Yeah, this is just an overall change of camping.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Interesting and pretty cool.
It's foundation for us to be more aggressive on the respawn cooldown for shrines, which will probably be the next big thing that we'll see.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there was another thing on there too, right?
Is it me?
It is you.
A cooldown on shrine.
This is another one that players have been talking about for a little bit, and that is an arena ready up and spectator camp.
Yeah. So for ready up, like we know, especially for arenas. So arenas, it's a fast mode. Often you're not changing your loadout. You just want to get in and go.
True.
So now there's a ready up feature. For arenas, it's everyone that has to opt in. So because it's only 3v3, if one person isn't ready, it makes a big difference.
Yep, makes sense.
But we also added it to OPR. In OPR, it's like 25 people have to be ready for it to go. And these numbers are tweakable, so we definitely are interested in how that goes and how that feels. But yeah, basically you'll be able to switch, skip right to the skip the whole pre-match phase if enough people opt in.
Yeah, which we had tried in a public test realm a couple years ago. We had tried reducing the ready up time, and the reason why we didn't make this just in code a shorter time, and why this change makes way more sense, is because players were split. Some people really use that time to, hop into Discord, make plans.
But that's why the vote's so important. It's because now, you know what I mean? If majority's ready, like, let's just play the game. You know what I mean? Like, the small minority is making the majority wait.
With people, figured that out. They needed that time, and so they felt pretty strongly that we shouldn't reduce it across the board. So this is a really great compromise for the players that just want to get in and play and go, who already know what their strategy is going to be, or they're going in and there's no strategy involved.
Right.
They can just hop in and play, compromised with the people that do actually want to take that time.
Yeah, and hopefully they're not in the same match, and because then ready up would never happen. But
they will be. It's a good call out though. That there will be times that this happens.
There will be times that ready up doesn't happen, and you might be sad if you're on the ready up side.
But you can just hit the button over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that works. That always works.
It makes it go faster.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then we have
Spectator Cam is the other one.
Love this.
Arenas definitely another big feature, right? So now instead of being in the bleachers, squinting, trying to make out what's going on down there, you can be right there in the action, and you can be cycling through, spectating. Basically, it just attaches your camera to both your allies and enemies.
Yep.
Because in the case of Arenas, it's not really going to give you much of an advantage. You can see everywhere everyone is anyways. And
that's
then,
cool, actually.
we also added it in Expeditions. Chad, you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, so when you unfortunately die against a difficult boss, instead of staring at a wall, now you'll be able to go up to the door and be presented with a prompt and enter into spectator mode and be able to watch your remaining teammates struggle on without you. And hopefully progress to victory.
That's awesome.
It's so great. We're going to be able to, well, hopefully we can put it in more places too, but this is a great starting point.
Yeah, for sure.
It feels good.
Yeah, we thought about adding it to CTF, but actually it's such a short respawn time that you'd almost not even see it. So it's, So we'll be evaluating mode by mode, where it makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's our deep dive into the coming season. And now we're going to be doing just a real quick review of our living roadmap. While I'm talking, there should be a great visual for everybody who's watching this.
There it is, right there.
Yeah, it's right there. You see it? We can't see any of it. So this, you'll notice we had presented this back in December to kick things off. What's coming in the next season, that's there for you. That's everything that you'll be getting that we've just talked through. Some of it we didn't touch on today. There will be more information coming up on the website as well as on social as we get closer to the date that the season goes live. There's also been changes to the in development and in exploration column. So feel free to compare, what's moved, see what you're really excited about, what's missing that you were hoping was going to be on there. For me, and I think there would be a great exercise that we all just talk about the stuff that's really exciting to us. So for me, in development is the new weapon. And while I can't say what that is because we want to keep some things a surprise, I will say that sometimes you have to cheer with both hands.
So it's a dual-handed weapon. Could be daggers, could be I don't even know.
2 hands.
2 hands. That's our hint that we get.
I was so curious what you were going to say.
I wonder what the comments say about that.
Anyway,
you said sometimes you have to cheer with 2
that.
hands. I wonder what that means.
I'm super stoked for what the team's been working on. It's very exciting.
That's definitely
I'm playing around with that. Dan,
so the new weapon confirmed pom-poms.
Yay!
Hey.
It's 2 hands.
What am I excited about? I'm excited about a catchy name still in development, procedural expeditions.
So 2-handed or
extraction?
Yeah, really rolls off.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be an extraction too.
So wait, two-handed or dual wield?
Not sure yet. I would really like to see another purpose for the shield slot. Like, you know where you put a shield?
Yeah, like a dual wield.
Yeah, yeah. If they could have it so you could put your main dagger on your main hand and then another dagger on the offhand to get, yeah, dual wield. That'd actually be cool. I'd love to see another purpose for that shield slot. But
really well, you know.
It's a working title.
I think Tracy actually came up with that.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's we actually have been prototyping it. Chad's team is doing a fantastic job. We're prototyping it. It's again, I can't really share too much yet. It's I know the name is a little mysterious as to what it might.
oh yeah, the procedurally generated dungeons with extraction. So it could be a normal dungeon where you just kill the boss and you're done. Or it could be like an extraction thing. I don't even know what that could be, but it's exciting.
Might be. But it plays great. It turns out that our expedition content, I think there's a few interesting things we've learned. For example, like we have a lot of enemy types that we've never really thrown at you in the same place, in the same fight. And so like getting to kind of go through a crazy remix of.
Do you hear what he's talking about right now? He said we have a situation where you're gonna have a bunch of creatures in one, which means that like they already have kind of a prototype of this. So even though it's not the in development stage, maybe it was in the last stage.
This is
yeah,
the in development.
Yeah, they already have a prototype
Of all of the enemy content in the game, doing like exploring a procedural map, like it's a dungeon crawl experience that really fits in the game. I'm excited about it.
Effectively like infinite expeditions, right? That's like the.
Okay, that's enough.
That's the hope.
Is that too much? Okay.
I like that name.
That is actually what it is though, and it's hype. Like, but there's gonna be set pieces. So let's say that the first wave has 200 set pieces, right? If you run it so much, you're gonna see every set piece. Does that make sense? So they need to make sure that they're constantly adding more in over time to make sure that it stays fresh.
I like that name. Maybe we should.
Like, oh, I've seen this room before. We got to do this to open the door. Like, you know what I mean? It's gonna be like that.
Yep.
Change that.
JR, before you get us all into trouble with marketing, what are you excited about?
I'm excited about our next game mode, which I can't talk about yet, but just know that it's coming and it's cool.
Bro, there's gonna be another game mode that they're working on already. And
yeah,
cool.
The new PvP mode.
No, like not. He said not capture the flag.
No, probably 1v1s.
I don't know, man. I think he's hitting towards like. Honestly, I don't even know. Like, World of Warcraft has like a siege mode. We have to bring towers in and take down doors and shit. They also have a capture the flag and domination mode in one map. So there's 4 points domination style, and then there's one flag in the middle. And the flag.
OPR right now is already domination.
Yes, but a mix. So you could so you go for the flag in the middle, and you have to take it to one of the 4 points on the outside that your team owns. So if they're capturing the points, oh well, now my team doesn't. Like I've had it to where I'm running towards a point, and then we lose it. And I'm like, fuck, but now I gotta, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what that means. New PvP game mode. It could be 1v1. Could be something completely different.
And that you'll love it.
Interesting.
That's all.
And you'll be seeking.
What? Can I talk about other stuff?
Wait, no, stop.
Okay.
You'll be seeking the crown. Chad?
King in the Hill.
King in the Hill.
King in the Hill. You'll be seeking the
So,
crown. That's
free-for-all.
King in the Hill. It could be free for all. It could be free. It could also just be team based. So whoever owns the hill can move. Oh, bro, that's actually sick. I didn't even think about that, bro.
Me either.
That's sick.
Good hint.
Yeah.
I'm certainly excited for the new zone in development.
Yes.
So
it's before they move on to the new zone. It's good to see that yes, that we're getting a preview for capture, but there's already other game modes working. They're already moving. Like this is what we need. And I feel like after we get a first good wave, a couple maps, I feel like they can slow down to the once every 4 months. But I'm not gonna complain if they want to keep pumping them out. I'll take it. You know what I mean? It's better than not getting it. You know?
with the Legion Wilds, we were reworking an existing zone. We did a lot to it. But for this one, it is an entirely new part of the map, new zone,
Like Brimstone.
new architecture, new theme,
new architecture, new theme. Could be Mayan, Jake. It could be anything before the 1700s. Anything before the 1700s.
We already got Egyptian, so
we got Egyptian. We got Greek or Rome or whatever it was.
Yep. Well, it's Brimstone, right?
Yep.
Mix
it's a mix.
Of the two.
Yep. So yeah, it could be anything before the 1700s.
Questing, new enemies, lots of new stuff. Tons of passion from the team developing it. Everybody's super excited about it. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I agree.
I saw a screenshot this morning. Somebody's crossing a bridge into the zone and this giant vista in the background, and it's just really cool looking.
A bridge into the zone. A bridge into the zone. That might not mean a lot, but if you need to get to over a bridge, which means water underneath, which means hopefully maybe boats further down the line, like that new travel system we were talking about earlier. You see what I'm saying?
I'll see.
Yeah.
I think Dan
mine theme fits.
With that, with what they're describing.
With just the their whole the New World theme.
Yeah, that's a great vista of what you'll see.
Interesting.
Yep. Joel,
very interesting.
What are you excited about?
I'm excited for a couple of things on the list. I'm really excited for being able to save my attributes into my gear sets. I'm really excited for gear set bonuses that we're going to have on new pieces of gear. It's going to allow us to really add new chases into different places in the world. Artifacts have been really
It'd be cool if they made them green items like D2. I'd actually really love
successful. We think that we can add more of those into different pieces of gear as a whole collection. And that's really what leads into some of the in-game overhaul that we're looking at for progression. We want to make our chases across the board more meaningful and give you more ways to collect things across the board. So I'm excited to see what our team can do with those updates coupled together. I think there'll be some fun stuff there.
Yeah, that overhaul is really going to like kind of expand what we call in-game content, right? Because there's reasons to replay all this stuff, like get more horizontal progression, because that's what artifacts really are, right? Because
to be fair, I said they should have done this from the start, but everybody was like, "No, do vertical," and I'm just gonna say, like, I've been saying to do this.
It's not just getting stronger. It's like, oh, this is like a new gameplay feature that I can add to my build.
Yes.
Now I can build something around that, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And with the improvement of gear sets, it's also going to be.
I hate that our max level's 65. Like, it's just such an odd number. 60 was so perfect. The original World of Warcraft max level, bro, it was so good. We never needed the extra 5 levels. They could have just given us the stat.
Able to allow us to have more of that customization and on the demand by having our attributes saved across the board, and it gives you more flexibility much faster. And I think that's going to be really fun together.
Absolutely. All right, Tracy. Last but not least.
All right.
What are you looking forward to?
I'm going to break the mold here. Everyone's talking about combat, PvP, PvE. I'm going to talk about crafting. I'm excited about global storage. It'll be very nice to not have to jump around everywhere to get all the mats I need. So
that is totally fair.
Long overdue.
Absolutely.
Well, yes, I love my jumbled mess.
Today. Thank you for joining us for the April Dev Update. We really appreciate you being here. And if you liked what you saw, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you in Aeternum.
Do they have more upvotes than downvotes?
They do. I checked. I checked. They do. Oh, that's so funny. Dude, this is crazy. This is the most amount of content we've legit ever seen coming in one season. And it's permanent shit. It's not like it's seasonal stories. Even though the seasonal stories were really good, like they were really well done and cool, I'd rather have them work on permanent content that we're gonna have for forever than something that we have for a season. You know what I mean?
True.
What are your thoughts? What are your final thoughts on that? Anything you don't like? Anything you like?
I just like that we're getting actual content. You know, not just promises of we're working on this, we're working on this.
Yeah.
But actually seem to have stuff that's in development. Seems like it's actually in development further along than just like we're looking at this.
100%.
But they actually took the time to make some shit and just experiment.
Yes.
Instead of saying we could do this and then waste all their time into something that never comes.
100%. I like that they're taking more risks, experimenting with things, and I feel like that's how it should be.
I'm curious what the weapon is. I can't tell if it's dual wield or two-handed.
Dual wield. She put up her hands like they weren't connecting. You know what I mean? Like she wasn't holding a great sword or a great axe. Like she was holding two different. She was holding pom poms. They described them as pom poms. Two different things. You know what I mean? They didn't describe it as like a club or like, you know what I mean? Something else that's two-handed to get your mind off of. You know what I mean? They described it as pom pom. First thing that came into their head. Two separate things. I think it's probably gonna be daggers. I think
A
it's probably
sword
gonna
and
be daggers.
dagger, two daggers, two swords. They
I
could do
would
what I wanted them to
love
do.
what?
The trident net.
Yeah, just let that develop after. Let that develop after. There's more weapons coming in the future. Let them get this out, dude. It feels like they got their shit together, and it's gonna start being like a content train. Does that make sense?
Mm.
It's gonna be like,
Well, they got the player base now from the sales from console, so.
oh, they did. We're sitting at actually a nice like I think 12 to 20,000. So like around there, if I'm
Wow.
being generous. Yeah, 20,000 high note, 12 like just average. So yeah, it's really not bad right now.